Hello everyone, thank you so much for joining me for a new different kind of video today. I've been inspired to kind of just talk about my hopes and dreams for this new 6-inch toy line that Hasbro has coming out very soon, which they recently revealed at New York Comic Con, I want to say. And I've been really excited to talk about it. I've been talking a lot about my Spin Master toys, as well as some of the more recent merchandise. I have some of my merch here next to me, and I really love Tron, and it's really awesome for me to see it come back after all these years. So I want to talk about it a little bit and talk about kind of all these crazy expectations for things that they could do in this hypothetical Tron toy line. So I'm going to talk about figures today. I won't go into vehicles. Maybe that could be a video in the future. But for now, I just want to talk about a couple of the figures I would love to see. And it just so happens that a couple years ago, when I was bored at some point, I pretty much laid out what I would make figures of in my own hypothetical Tron toy line. And it's crazy for me to see that's becoming a reality now. There's 5 figures I won't be talking about here today, and that's going to be the 5 they've revealed, which are Sam Flynn, Kevin Flynn in his like black outfit, Rinsler, Clue, and then finally Cora, who they said is going to be in a wave 2. Hopefully that actually does come out, and she won't be hard to find. And I'm excited to see who else is in wave 2. But I figured I'd just kind of jump off from there. And I'll start with Legacy and talk about the figures I would like to see from that movie, since that seems like it's going to be the main focus of the line. First up, I would say I'd really like to see some of the army builders. We got those in the Spin Master line in Wave 1, so I'm really hoping we get those soon. I think they definitely should be in Wave 2. At least the Black Guard, I think, is really iconic, especially with the whole wingsuit scene of them coming into the end of line club in that movie. So I think they're going to be a lock for sure. I'd also like to see the Clue Sentry, however. I think those two would make for excellent figures. I've also talked about a lot recently that I would love to see the Rinsler figure repainted in white as a Tron figure. I customized one to get my own version of that in the Spin Master toy line, and I think it's actually going to finally happen now because they are including the unmasked young Alan Bradley head in the Rinsler figure. So I think we might actually get that, which is really exciting. I'd also like to see a few different versions of Kevin Flynn also, particularly him in his white robes from the beginning of the movie, which is what Spin Master made the figure of back in the day, and which I complained about in my retrospective on the Spin Master toy line, because I wanted the look that Hasbro now gave us, but I would like to get that white look also. I'd also like a flashback figure of him, which I would buy 2 of so I could have one of him and one of Clue and put it next to that hypothetical Tron figure. That would make a great trio of toys for sure. We also 100% need Castor slash Zeus in this toy line. If you watch my Spin Master retrospective video on the Tron toys, you'd know that Castor never made it to shelves, which is really unfortunate. So I really hope that doesn't repeat again and we actually manage to get Castor in our hands this time, other than the few people who managed to get the Spin Master caster. So hopefully we get that now. And a figure that Spin Master included in their toy line that I hope we see is Jarvis. He was a really fun inclusion, kind of just a generic henchman for Clue, but just a cool kind of world building character. I hope we see him return as well. I think some more generic characters, like some of the different random programs we see in the Discord scene, as well as the Light Cycle scene, could make for cool figures. Give me the Daft Punk cameo. I would especially love. That would make a great 2-pack. There might be a couple 2-packs I'd mention in here that I would imagine specifically. We could definitely use Gem, who sometimes was labeled as just a siren. She would make a great inclusion. And then also one I really hope we get that I was so upset we never got in the Spin Master line is Clue in his trench coat. That scene of him just sitting there watching the Discord battle, it was so cool. And I'd really like to get a figure of that. So those are kind of my main ideas for what I'd like to see to kind of round out the Legacy toy line. However, in addition to finishing the Legacy figures, I really hope we do eventually get to see the original Tron movie characters done in this 6-inch style as well. I know we're getting the HasLab now. You can watch my video about the current state of Tron toys to see my thoughts on that. I'm pretty disappointed in it, all things considered, not because of the scale, but because of the price. Uh, but I would still like to see the figures based on the original Tron in 6-inch scale. Diamond Select did give us a pretty nice set of 3 molds, 4 characters, if you want to count it, 4 unique characters in my mind, um, in a 7-inch scale, which is close. I would like to see them done in a 6-inch scale as well, so you can put them with the Legacy figure. For that, the most obvious inclusions are going to be Tron, of course. You could have Kevin Flynn. You could do the Sark Warrior, which somehow was not included in the HasLab. You'd have to do Yori, of course, definitely to recreate the iconic poster. I think that's iconic at this point. Um, Probably Infiltrator Flynn. He'd just be an easy repaint to do with the normal Flynn. Diamond Select did it, so I don't see why they wouldn't do it. Ram is probably my favorite character in that movie, so I'd be so happy to get a figure of him finally. And then I'd also like to see Clue 1.0. I know he's only in that one scene, but that would be a fun inclusion, especially knowing that that Clue character went on to be much more important. And I don't know how they would do it, but I'd love a master control program, MCP, whatever you want to call them. That would be awesome. My personal favorite piece of Tron media isn't even actually one of the movies. It's the show, Tron Uprising. I grew up watching that show, and it devastated me when we never got a second season. And I really hope that Hasbro seizes the opportunity to finally give us action figures based on this show with some amazing character design. So first off, we would need the main character, who is Beck, of course. There's a couple versions I would like to see of him. The main two would definitely be him in his renegade outfit. The white armor is just so iconic. It looks so cool. I love that look so much. I would kill for an action figure that recreated that design. And then I'd also like him in his civilian attire. I think that would just make sense to have a normal figure of Beck when he's in Abel's garage, because he's really kind of jumps between the two kind of lives. If you watch the show, you kind of know what I'm talking about. Also, you would need Tron, of course, because Tron is a big uh, character in this show. You could maybe do 2 versions, maybe one with the scars, one without the scars. I'd love to see that. One of my personal favorite characters in the show is Paige. I would definitely want a figure of her. Her design is also great. I love her design with her helmet on also. And I was thinking maybe a cool 2-pack to do would be her with her helmet and then a repaint of the Renegade Beck in his black outfit before he gets Tron's white disc. Just thinking on Hasbro's behalf here, that's an easy way to repaint 2 of these figures right off the bat. Very minimal new tooling for maybe Paige's new helmet, and that would be it. As far as villains, I would love to see Tesla. His character is really cool. To see what they would do with the accessories for his giant fist hands that fly all around would be crazy to see. And then you also would need Pavel to finish the trio of main bads this season. Other than Cyrus, of course, who kind of comes a little later, he would be such a cool character. It blows my mind that Aaron Paul was the voice of that character in retrospect. So I would definitely like a figure of him as well. And then the 2 kind of side characters that you would still want to get figures of would be Zed and Mara. I feel like those 2 might be reaching a little bit, but that I would still like to see them. And then beyond those 2, I would like to still see figures based on the guard designs and maybe the black guard also. Those would all make for really cool figures, I think. Beyond the movies and the Uprising show, there are still a few other figures that I would like to get, although I think they would be a little bit more of a stretch. I'm going to go 2 and 2, 2 from each of the games. First up is Tron Evolution. This is a game I played a lot growing up. The story was awesome and blew my mind, and I couldn't believe how much it tied in with the Legacy movie. I just thought that was crazy as a kid, and I would love to see an Anon figure, and you could paint that so many different ways, so many different colors to just really play up on the customization you had as the player. And I would buy multiples of that figure, honestly. And then I would also want to see Abraxas, of course. His design is so freaking cool. And he's just such an intimidating character and boss in that game. So I think he would be a must must have for my collection. There may be a couple others from that game that I could see getting figures. However, those would be the two I would want to see if I could only pick two. The other game I enjoy quite a bit is going to be Tron Catalyst. I know there are a couple other video games out there for Tron, but those are the two that I like personally. And for that, I would like to see figures of EXO definitely. I think she's an awesome character and I love her design. And then Query, who's kind of a villainous antagonist character in the game. I haven't finished it all the way quite yet, to be honest with you, but I'm very close. And I like it a lot, to be frank with you so far. So I'm excited to see if maybe we could get characters from that in this line also. I don't know, but that's probably definitely a big stretch. I'll be surprised if we even get a second wave or maybe third wave of the Tron Legacy figures. They already confirmed a Korra for wave two, so that makes me think we're in the clear to get at least two waves, but we'll see about that. Um, Ultimately, I really hope this does well. I obviously love Tron a lot, and I've put a lot of time recently into making videos talking about Tron. I just really love the franchise, and I have a lot to say about it. I don't see as many people talking about it as some other franchises that I love, so I kind of just felt like I should talk about it. Um, so I'm really excited to just kind of see what happens with this toy line, and I really hope it's successful and that it can kind of send this message to Disney that there are fans of this franchise still that love kind of all the different aspects of it. So I'm hopeful. I hope you guys like this video. Please consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed it. And let me know if you'd like to maybe see a part two where I maybe dive into some vehicles and playsets I would like to see, because I would love to see those. It would probably be difficult in the 6-inch scale, but hey, we can dream. Thank you so much, guys, and have a great rest of your day.